Hello, hello, and welcome to tonight's presentation of Annoying Daily Health Challenges and You. We are excited for us to spend the next 30 years enjoying better and better health, and we hope you are going to enjoy that along with us. We'd love to share this journey with you. I'm Cynthia.
And I'm Mark, and we're hoping that it gets less and less annoying. We're going to share some ideas with you about that today.
Yes. So if you were had an annoying health challenge, what would be your top number one annoying health challenge?
My most annoying health challenge is falling asleep in the afternoon when I'm trying to get work done.
Oh,
and I'm working and suddenly I just wake
wow.
up and think, how long have I been asleep?
Well, when we get to the end of this, we'll hold that one and you can tell what your secret is, okay? So we're going to move right into the presentation. So you may be at a point in your life, whether you're 25 and dealing with health challenges or you're 65 and dealing with health challenges. You may be asking yourself, is this my new normal? I think a lot of us are asking that question right now anyway, because of all the changes that we see and, having to deal with COVID and other types of things that are in our world today. We might be asking ourselves, well, maybe this is what it's going to be like now. And what am I supposed to do? What do I need to do? So maybe some of the things that you're dealing with, and these are not a COVID list, is pain or head tension and stiff muscles, low energy, sleep issues, and stomach and digestive issues. And these are pretty normal for most people. We have probably at least 60% of the population deals with sleep issues. And low energy, that was what Mark was talking about in the middle of the day for him. Stomach and digestive issues, major problems. You just have to look at what you can buy over the counter and see what people are dealing with. And then because of the lives that we live, we have a lot of tension that we deal with. We have a lot of anxiousness in our lives. So I'm inviting you to take this quiz for yourself. And when you decide to take this quiz, you're more than welcome to have answers that meet your needs specifically. But first, we're going to take a quiz of as many people as we can and find out what their best outcomes are for using things. So let's start with this. Annoying daily health challenges. So do they just nag at you all the time? Is it just something that's just right there in your face?
Don't forget me.
And whether it's here or here or here or who knows, not sleeping. It's horrible. I remember I went through a period of time where I didn't sleep for about 2 years. I'd sleep maybe tops 4 hours, and it was really tough. And so I can relate to that. In fact, I can relate to a lot of these. I don't deal with a couple of them much, but I do deal with like if I overextend myself when I'm exercising, ouch, or stomach issues. I have that I deal with quite a bit. And the sleep issue right now is not a difficult thing. I'd say mine's more an energy boost one that right now that I'm looking at.
It's interesting. I've found that some of these nagging things have been going on for so long that I just kind of have gotten used to them. And when I try some of these things that help so much, I suddenly go, wow, I didn't even realize I was dealing with that every day. It was nagging at me and just bringing me down.
Yeah, it brings you down. It's like this big weight that you can't really get rid of. And it just makes you feel more and more, well, like asking the question, is this the new normal?
Yeah.
So this is us. And yes, we like to hike. And this is a little hike we took a couple years ago, but it was fun. It was just a really fun experience, and we like to be out and using our muscles and our bodies. We've always been pretty active. Well, except for the times when we haven't. But I like to think that we're pretty active. And so, the question that I have for you and for me and for anyone is, do you want solutions for just like snap your fingers tomorrow and it's a Band-Aid? Or are you looking for long-term solutions so that you can have enjoyment and really great health for the long haul, right? Not just a little teeny moment. So you might be asking questions like, why do I need to do this now? Why is this important? Well, unfortunately, for most people, somewhere around their mid-50s, they start feeling, or maybe even earlier than that, we start feeling a little bit draggy, or maybe the weight issues catch up with us, or maybe we're just a little bit too tired to go out and exercise the way we really want to, or who knows, whatever else. Maybe our poor eating choices are catching up with us, or just work, or we're overextended and or even family, there's just so much that we carry with us, and we keep pushing through and pushing through and pushing through. And then finally, there's really no push left. We just don't have anything left that we can push with. We've used up all our extra energy resources in our bodies. And so then we look outside to try and find things that are going to help us, right? And so I hope in this experience that you're going to hear today, and that you'll get some knowledge about things that you can do that can get your internal organs more working better for you, so that you can really, truly enjoy the next 30 years. So maybe you're worried about staying well. Maybe you're already in a position where, you've got a lot of things that you've been prescribed, and you're wondering what the next 30 years, if there are going to be 30 years, or, maybe you don't even know what's going to happen in the next year. Or maybe you think your life will be healthier the next year, as long as you keep eating your supersized everything, and whatever happens there.
Let me just share one thought on that. I had this flashback a few years ago when my oldest grandchild came up to me. We were at a park, and he came up and he said, Papa, come and play tag with me. And I thought, man, this kid's going to be running fast, but I want to keep up with him. And I had this flashback of a conversation I'd had with another gentleman a couple of years before. And he said, my grandson invited me to go hiking, I think it was. And he said, I just couldn't do it. And I really wanted to do it, but I couldn't. And I thought, wow, that's something I want to be able to do for as long as possible. When any of those grandkids come up and say, Papa, let's go hike, let's go walk, let's whatever. I want to be able to do that with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to go back one time for that.
Is it still going forward?
Yeah, it's still going forward. You're getting a sneak preview. So here we go. One more forward. So we're just going to talk about some really easy things that you can do to start out with. And then if you would like to have a more in-depth discussion, we'll be happy to do that on a personal basis with you. So let's look at this. So we have pain, head tension, stiff muscles, things like that are maybe getting in the way. So we thought we'd go a little bit out on a limb and talk about one that isn't usually talked about in those terms, and that's copaiba. And then deep blue, which a lot of people have heard about by now. It's awesome. It's fast acting. You get a lot of really great results for sore, stiff muscles immediately. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. And so, I think that the most important thing to do is remember that there are a lot of choices. And the reason there are a lot of choices is because plants, which is where essential oils come from, have 200 to 800 different elements that make up what helps the plant be a plant, protect itself, and have all these incredible things that we use, these incredible qualities. And so let's look at copaiba first. So copaiba is awesome. There have been multitude of studies done on copaiba, and that it is more effective than CBD for so many, and there are no side effects. No side effects. That's crazy. That's for copaiba.
Pretty amazing.
So you can know that you can use it, and it's going to help your body with any kind of inflammatory response or just nervous issues. And a lot of times we get head tension and those kinds of things as a result of, nervous issues. Right. So if you can kind of calm down those experiences in your body, then you can also relieve a lot of those stiff muscle problems and the head tension and the general pain associated with it. And then also it helps with a myriad of things. Copaiba is just kind of awesome because it affects so wonderfully the nervous system. Then it helps with other situations that are also affected by the nervous system, the cardiovascular, the digestive system, anxious feelings. And so all of those things are soothed and helped and improved as a result of using the copaiba. And then we can look at the deep blue again, and it also helps. Like I use it every time I go out for a walk or a run, or when I'm doing my weight exercises, because I know it's going to relax my muscles and then help it get the best results during that experience that it can. Have you had any experiences with either of these that you
yeah, with share? Both actually. Copaiba is my go-to. I love it for headache and head tension. It really, really helps me with that. And
I did it again.
Go up and down.
Sorry, guys.
It really helps me with head tension and just relieving headache, and it feels so much more gentle on my stomach and my whole system, but very effective. So I love that one. Awesome. And deep blue, I'm an avid mountain biker and outdoor guy, and so I always get aches and pains, and so I love putting on deep blue, and it soothes my muscles so quickly. Interestingly, funny thing is I often wake up with a really stiff back in the morning, and I get out of bed and I'm just kind of like waddle into the bathroom, and I put on deep blue, and it just within minutes I'm doing
You're
great.
doing well.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to help you notice is number 2. So make sure that you take the time to check out Dr. Hill's information on copaiba on YouTube. And also, my friend and nurse, Stacy Jackson, has a great presentation that will soon be on my eodrops.com website, and love to have you watch that. It'll give you a really in-depth and concise overview of why copaiba is so effective.
That's a great one. Don't miss that one.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's an excellent presenter. Okay, so next we have what to do for low energy. Now, we've already talked about Mito2 Max, so we're not going to go over that again. We're trying to get something that's specific to you, and you'll realize that we're showing it quite a few times. And I remember kind of getting overwhelmed with, well, what is the one that I need to do? And so what the whole process is here, and why we're having the questionnaire is so that we can share with new people who haven't already tried essential oils before, so we can share some of these with you, and you can see which one works best for you. So I want to tell a funny thing about wild orange, and so we're going to start about that. So homeostasis is a place of balance, and that's the place where you feel lots of energy, but you don't feel like tense, and you feel relaxed, but you don't feel low energy. And that's what we want to have, is a place of balance in our lives. And so there are some oils that help together when they're used together. And that's why we show all of these together. It's because when you use them in a process rather than just a single, then you get a better effect. And that's what we're looking for, is higher yield for you. So here's the funny one on wild orange, just wild orange by itself, and how it helps with anxiousness. So I have a friend who gets rather stressed out pretty easily. And so her husband knew about wild orange, and he would put it on his hands and rub it on his hands, and then he'd take his hands and he'd rub it in her hair. And pretty soon she's just like all happy and, oh, I feel so good. And one day she caught him putting on the wild orange on his hand. She's like, what are you doing? So she learned that she really responds well to wild orange. I have a person in my family that deals with really severe anxiousness, and I gave her just a tiny sample bottle of wild orange, and she put it under her nose and she smelled it. And for the first time in about 3 years, she started being outside in the public again. It was extremely difficult for her to be with anybody. She was, where I had seen her was at one of her brother's weddings, and that's why she was even out at all. And this completely changed her life and the life of her children. Just that simple wild orange did that for her.
Amazing.
So it's just wonderful how you can really affect change with just simple plants. So then the wild orange and peppermint together, the wild orange creates this lack of anxiousness, right? And smiles on people's faces, and everybody loves each other more. And then the peppermint does a wonderful thing because it opens up your air pathways. And when we do that, we get more oxygen in our body. So I'm going to tell a little story about that. Two things. I read in a magazine for women's running and Runners Magazine, and they had done their own little studies on peppermint and discovered that it was shaving seconds off of the time of these runners. And they were so excited about shaving seconds off of their time. And I had read that after I had already experienced what peppermint could do for me. And that is when I was doing CrossFit, and I just felt like I couldn't keep going. I thought, well, there's something, I'm just out of shape. I can't keep doing this. And I was prompted to use some peppermint while I was during the process. And I started doing that, and immediately I could finish my hour workout without any problem. I'm like, wow, that's all I needed was more oxygen. So oxygen is going to help you get well faster. And that's really important to our bodies. And that's what these essential oils help, is they help oxygenate, circulate, and then they also help rid the toxins from your system. And so you're going to have an increase of circulation. You're going to be aiding your liver and all those wonderful detoxing experiences you're going to have with that. But it's going to help with your lungs and your heart and all of your systems. And at the same time, you're going to experience some repairing happening because oxygen helps repair the body. So awesome. You're helping yourself feel better, more balanced with just simple oils. And I put lemon in there because you can always use lemon to up your energy. It just is a really nice upper. You can stick it in your water. We talk about water a lot here because it's super important to have enough water in your system to circulate everything out, but also move that oxygen through and keep your body really healthy.
I've had great experience with the peppermint as well. Before I go on a ride or a hike, I'll just put some in my hands and breathe it for 3 or 4 minutes, and it just so opens everything up, and it feels really, really helps me perform better.
So just a little bit on sleep issues. We've already discovered that so many people deal with sleep issues. It's a big deal, and there's so many reasons why it happens, but we're not going to go into that. But we are going to talk just a little bit about what you can do to calm the body down and stop that brain from rushing 100 miles an hour so that you can actually sleep. So new findings, well, maybe not new findings, but new to me findings about PTSD. Now that's post-traumatic stress disorder, and it happens a lot with soldiers, but it happens with anybody who's been in a heightened trauma situation. And what happens under that is you become hypersensitive to everything, and you react in ways that are out of line or beyond the scope of what's actually going on around you. And sleep becomes a real problem in a situation like that. But the discovery was that smells are the only thing that can be experienced at the amygdala level. I probably said that wrong. But anyway, I say it like, I don't know, some place, kingdom or something anyway. But so the smell is something that the body can react to immediately. So when we think of sleep issues and calming our body down, an immediate way to calm the body down is to put a good smell in the air. And for many people, sandalwood is an excellent, excellent thing to help with that. And that is found in Serenity. Serenity also has lavender in. Women respond extremely well to lavender. The vetiver is really stops or slows down the excitement in a brain. And then we have copaiba, who, remember, it helps with all those nervous issues that we're hearing about with all the CBD. So now we know that we can have that experience with copaiba as well. So this tells you just a few ways that you can use that. You can apply it to the sleep center of the foot. And if you don't know where that is, it's under your big toe. So if you did reflexology, or if you do acupressure points, if this were my big toe, and this is my underside of my big toe, right at the base of my big toe is a kind of a caved in part. And if it's not caved in, it's because your sleep center's kind of like clogged up. So you take Serenity and you put that there at night, and you just rub it in and massage it around. And that helps shunt that wonderful serenity to the places in the central nervous system lines to get to the brain. So even rubbing that area without using Serenity will help accentuate that opportunity. But as far as making it more probable for reacting in a great way, you can add the Serenity to it. Now, another thing that is really awesome is you can put it on behind your neck. On the two sides of your spinal cord are just some little kind of indentations called the occipital triangles. And this area right here is Serenity. Put the Serenity on there too, because sandalwood has been known to pass the blood-brain barrier, so that's going to help the brain. You can also put the pipe there, awesome, to help with nervousness along the central nervous system on your back, so that's really going to help you. And then you can do separates. So remember, we're saying sometimes you have more. Well, vetiver is in Serenity, lavender is in Serenity, wild orange is not, but we already talked about that and how it kind of stops feeling anxious. And so it will help promote this feeling of restfulness. Have you ever used Serenity before?
I want to thank you for pointing out how to apply these, because I was just having this flashback when you were talking about it. First time we started using oils, somebody handed me a bottle of oil, and I'm just like, okay, so what do I do with this? Do I like douse it on, or do I drink it, or what do I do with this? It's got all these great properties.
Right.
So it's good to know specifically where it goes to really benefit you the most.
Yeah.
Some of the components of Serenity are really great for me. The wild orange is really great for me, in the sandalwood. So I love that for calming down, being able to sleep.
Awesome.
It's really, really great.
Yeah. And I've noticed with me with Serenity, I like it on my feet better than around my face. I don't mind smelling it if it comes in a diffuser, so diffuse it. I don't really like it next to my face on my skin. You might put it on a little cloth or something too, and smell that once in a while. It's a great way if you're on a trip and you don't have your diffuser with you, you can always do that too. Digestive issues. All right. So digestive issues are really touchy. So, when I travel, I always travel with these. Oh, I would never travel. Now that I know how good you can feel, I would never travel for a lot of reasons. One, you don't know what you're eating, even if you go to the best restaurants. You don't know how your body's going to respond to, react to travel itself. And this helps with any kind of digestive issues that you might have with, you know, any of your bowel movements, all of that. It helps with everything so that you can travel better. Who doesn't want to have a better experience traveling? And even at work, you know, it helps relax and causes less bloating just because of what's in it with the anise and fennel and all of all the mint and everything that it's got in it just helps to relax that body. And the body really, really responds well to this. Gut health. Why do you think gut health is important, Mark?
Well,
before I talk about it.
Gut health, I believe I am remembering this right, that digestion is the most stressful and the most important thing that your body does all day long.
Absolutely.
And so while I'm thinking more important than thinking or breathing, that digestion takes more coordinated effort and energy from your body to do it well. Yeah. And so having these things that really make it more effective and really work for you are so critical, really critical.
Right. So gut health, I always like if I get a cold, I actually try to get my gut healthier before I think of other things, because I figure that the immune system's really hurting. And if I want my liver to be functioning better and my kidneys to be functioning better and my digestive system to be working properly and getting all of that so that I can get rid of all the toxins that the body is trying to get rid of, then I want to use something like this to really up the ante and help my body remove all of that stuff that is stopping me from having my best health. All right, so now we get to move from daily annoyance, that nagging, to daily rejoicing. Yeah. And I made this up actually, but Mark liked it, so it's kind of sticking.
Yeah, this is great.
You are not on earth just to survive or to be deprived. You can be more than just alive. You are on earth to thrive, to have joy, energy, more time to share, to have a jazzed up, abundant life. And that's why we're here today. We hope that you'll do that. We hope that you'll take the time for yourself to do that. Now, I know this looks overwhelming, but remember, we're starting with this. We're going to do a Healthy Habits Kit, and then we're going to move from the Healthy Habits Kit, and then we're going to find specific things that you need, whether it's the Copaiba or the Digestion, Serenity Wild Orange. You know, what's nagging you and what are going to be the answers for those nagging problems that you're dealing with. And we'll talk more about it later. You'll see many things on eodrops.com. And if you don't already have these things, you can add them to your kits. You can add them to what you're doing in your life to really get the next 30 years.
You know, and the really interesting thing is that don't worry about if something is working for somebody else, but it doesn't work for you. There are a number of these products and oils that Cynthia uses and loves, and they are so effective for her. And I try them and I'm like, well, that one's really not good for me, or I don't like the smell or whatever. But I find some that just do it for me, and I love them and I use them, but they're not the same ones that she uses.
That's right.
So you just kind of try a few and go on some of these recommendations. And if it doesn't work for you, it's okay. I'm sure you will find some that will really work for you and make a difference in your life. They have for me.
Yes. And if you are thinking that you're ready to change your life every day and every month and for the next 30 years, then consider doing it in a way that's going to get you the financial capability to create the extra oils that you need and the extra supplements. And that is by moving into an LRP. And this is how easy it is. You just start that LRP up, and by the time you've been doing it for a year, you will have 30% coming back to you. 30% is going to buy you enough of the extra products that you need to really round out a full complement to a healthy life.
Such a great value, such a great value, and it just builds and builds, and you're getting more healthy all the time, and your body is becoming stronger, your mind's becoming more clear, and you're getting these bonuses all the time. It's just it's terrific. It's really great.
Thanks for being on tonight. We're going to turn off the recording and we'll move to any questions that anybody might have. Turn off the recording first.